This is Campus Notes, your weekly higher ed show with Guidebook. Real stories from the people building the campus experiences that drive yield and retention.
Hi, and welcome everyone to what is our third episode of our new Campus Notes series. And today we're really excited to have Rachel joining us from University of Virginia. Rachel, firstly, thank you for joining us. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Amazing. And today we're going to kind of dive into, I guess, what is like your signature event. And I'm really excited to learn a little bit more about the purpose of that event, how you approach it, how you think about it. But I think first and foremost, what is your signature event, and really like what is its key purpose? Why do you run it?
Yeah, so the signature event is called Days on the Lawn. It is our admitted student events that we run in the spring. So we host 4 large visit days for our admitted students to come visit us in the spring. It's quite successful. It's really fun. We try to make sure that the day is a balance of learning and academic sessions, but also just a time for students to get to know UVA, get to know our current students before they're making their final choice about joining us for the following fall.
Amazing. And you said there it's quite successful. How are you thinking about that? Like what makes it successful, or how do you interpret what makes it successful?
Yeah, I think first, like just throughout the day, gauging parent and student reactions of are they enjoying the day? Are they appreciating the schedule? We get a lot of compliments at the end of each day. We're like, we've had so much fun with you guys today, or this might be one of the best admitted student events that we've attended through the other ones that we've done this spring. So that just makes my heart happy because we spend a lot of time planning these events. Like it's pretty much a year-round process to make sure that these go well. So it's really in the moment feedback from our university partners, feedback on our survey, and just seeing the numbers of students who are matriculating after
Mhm.
attending the event. So obviously we can't like do like a one-to-one match back with that, but we see that a lot of students are choosing UVA after attending Days on the Lawn. So we hope that indicates some success for us as well.
I think you can tie that together a little bit. I think if
We try to, definitely.
Yeah, I think I mean, I know it's not always easy to kind of connect those dots, but I think if people are having that much of a positive experience and then, joining you in the fall, then I think you can get there on terms of, at least being a big contributing factor for sure.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
And when you think about maybe the last time that you ran it, so your most recent event, like
Mhm.
how do you know what's working? Like are you evolving it every time that you run it or year to year? Like how do you know things are working, or how do you know things that you might want to change or add new components or different things into the event?
Yeah, so I've been working with Days on the Lawn for, gosh, 7 or 8 years. So I've seen multiple iterations of it, and we changed our schedule a few years ago where the morning is a fun welcome on the lawn. It's outside, the rotunda is right there, like an iconic building at UVA. The band is there, a cappella group. So we start with excitement, we move into academic sessions, so kind of focusing in people. And then the afternoon is really like choose your own adventure. So we run a ton of different sessions that students can select from using the Guidebook app, which has been super helpful. So they can kind of explore and have fun. So a mom actually this past spring explained that back to me. She's like, we start with fun, we lock in for a little bit, we end with fun. And I'm like, that's exactly the purpose that we wanted to have with this. So I think it's working well when, again, we're getting that feedback in real time with parents, like, evaluating the day and saying like, "Oh yeah, we learned so much," or, "Everything on your schedule has kind of answered all the questions that we needed." And we definitely take in feedback each year of like, "Oh, maybe I wish there was a session on this," or maybe you could run multiple sessions on this, and then kind of calibrating our schedule from there.
Now, and are you kind of measuring maybe how or where those different components of the schedule get engagement or more engagement or less engagement? Like, how do you think about that? And I guess then how do you think about what does that mean for the student?
Yeah, definitely. So we had talked about maybe making academic sections optional or maybe moving them to a latter half of the day. But we're finding that a lot of UVA prospective students are selecting us based on academics, maybe first or very top of the list. So we want to get those questions right out of the way. And then we found that people have those opening sessions and then they kind of reflect on it for a couple hours and then come back with questions. So we leave a lot of time at the end of the day for student to student interaction and open houses for people to kind of take some time with their questions throughout the day. Um, so we're very intentional with kind of how we structure it out, just based on our feedback from student surveys and how they're thinking about how they're going to spend their time at UVA. It's a lot of academics, research focused, community. So we kind of section those out in that way.
Okay, yeah, no, that makes sense. And you sort of mentioned, yeah, like that surveys and feedback. Is that something that you feel that you get good engagement on? Like, do you think you have? Because I think some people, and I've had this in the past running events. It can be quite hard to get feedback.
Yeah.
Like, how do you feel you do in getting that feedback?
Yeah, there's definitely room for improvement. It's hard to incentivize like a survey
Mm,
at that point because they're already admitted. We hope that they're going to attend. So we really kind of push feedback. This year we changed or added a question to our survey of was there someone that made an impact to you during your day? So trying to get people to remember who they interacted with or maybe give a nice shout out. I feel like there's like 2 ways to take a survey of you either really love the experience, you wanna glow about it, or you really had a problem with something and you, like, need to
mm,
let us know that you had a problem with something. It more leans to, like, the glowing experience, which we love, but obviously if someone's gonna bring up, like, a hole in the day or something we need to restructure, we definitely wanna hear about that. So, definitely trying to increase that, and I think just letting people know, like, after the event, like, "Let us know how we did." Because we want to be able to make this better and better for each year.
yeah. Okay. No. Yeah, that makes total sense. And is there something that you wish you could do with your event? Do you have like an idea of something where you're like, I'd love to see us be able to kind of move it in this direction or test this or think about the student in this way.
Yeah, I think one of the things that we run up against is just space and capacity
Mm,
constraints. So I wish that we had more areas for larger panels and meet and greets. We only have a few like larger spaces around grounds, so we're really held by capacity. So we have to think strategically about that. So if I had like all the room in the world to just like take over grounds for the day, obviously I can't do that. Like classes are in session, our current students are there. And then of course, if I had, all of the budget in the world to do super fun things, we actually did one of my like bucket list things this year. We got popsicles from a local vendor for our afternoon student social. And I was like, I always wanted popsicles at Days on the Lawn. And maybe next year we'll customize them to be like orange and blue and have our logo
mm,
on them. But they were a big hit. And also being able to like bring in a local vendor is also really nice to get them to know Charlottesville beyond just UVA. So yeah, but again, if I had all the budget in the world, we could really go wild with some fun things like swag bags for everyone and all the things, all the bells and whistles would definitely be happening.
yeah, I mean, popsicles are fun though. And I think, yeah, if you could get them
Yeah, they were
branded,
great.
if you can hit those brand colors, then, it's always good to have that continuity.
Exactly, exactly.
And you mentioned Guidebook at one point. I'm just going to say, like, how does that change? Because, you've been with, a couple of years using
Hmm.
Guidebook now. Like,
Yeah.
how's that changed or evolved for you? Like, have you changed the way in which you use it as well?
Yeah. So this past year was our second year using it for Days on the Lawn. And I think after our first year, we were just blown away at first the amount of people that like downloaded the app beforehand and had set their schedule. Like by the time they came to check in at registration, we're like, did you download Guidebook? And they're like, yeah, of course. Like I'm ready for my day. So it's so nice
Mm,
that students kind of like know how to use that platform and are ready to go through it. And I think it just creates more autonomy for families. We got so many less questions about like, "Oh, I can't find this building," or "How do I get there?" But
mm,
by the embedded map features and even just like getting directions to where they need to go, I felt like there was so much autonomy to their day, which is exactly what we want for these students and families. We want them to be able to navigate UVA on their own and not need so much hand holding so they can know, like, I can be a successful student here. Like, I can get from point A to point B. I can see myself as a student here. And just having contact information for session locations or who's going to be where for what. I think there was just so much additional information that students wanted that now can live in the app each year. So we even just added more things this year about descriptions and links and information for sessions. And then also trying to track attendance at some of those as well with that
Mm.
check-in feature, just to see, how we can maybe drum up interest for something that might be smaller crowds than we would anticipate for something.
Oh, okay. So you're thinking of check-in as a way to kind of get ahead of a potential smaller crowd. So if you see that maybe people aren't signing up or engaging with something, you want to then, in the fly on the moment, try and drive more people to that event.
Yeah, we could send out, in a notification in real time, or we could get back to the department that's hosting the event to say, oh, we could send an additional email about this before students come for the next Days on the Lawn event. So really just trying to make sure, because we're asking so much of our university partners, we want to make sure that there
Mm.
is great attendance at the events that they're hosting. So Guidebook can definitely help us with that.
And I guess like final thought and question from me is, if I'm like a student and I'm driving away or walking away or however I commuted to Days on the Lawn, I'm leaving. Like, what do you hope I feel, or what do you hope my perspective is as I kind of move away from that event?
Yeah, I hope that they can reflect on seeing themselves at UVA. Like, do we give them enough programming and time to think about, can they see themselves as a student? And even if we're not the right place to them, are they coming away with like a good image of who we are as a university? Do we take care of them while they were here with us through the application process and through the times that they visited with us? And also, hopefully, that it's fun. I think the college application process can be so super serious. And I understand that. I read the applications, I get that. But at that point in the year, with students making decisions, we want to see that it's not just all serious things, but really, are they going to come here and engage with us and be a part of that community and hopefully have some fun reflections on the day, which we actually do see. One of our like signature events at the end of the day is a student social where they get to mix and mingle with other members of the potential incoming class and our current students. And so many students are like, I met my roommate there. I met my best friend there. And then we decided to come to UVA, or we found out we were both going to come to UVA. And then they're like best friends 4 years on. So we get a lot of our student volunteers coming back to us the following year to be like, I love the student social. I love Days on the Lawn. Like, I want to be one of those volunteers for the next group. So that really means that it's working for us.
Yeah, I love that. That's such a good indication that it's
Yeah.
successful and students are finding their home, I guess, or finding where their
Yeah.
home is for 4 years at least.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Amazing. Well, look, I really appreciate you coming on and sharing that. It's really good to get some context to your event, and really thank you for your time.
Yeah. Thank you for having me. This was such a great conversation. I love to reflect on the fun events about UVA. So this was a pleasure.
Amazing. And we'll see everyone else on the next episode.
Thanks, guys.